Let's take a little time to reveal the prehistoric stories that the earth once concealed. Mix them all together on this ancient land. It's time to spread some Palaeo Jam. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Palaeo Jam podcast. My name's Michael Mills. I'm your host. Just on 12 months ago, in this very room, the Paleo Library at Flinders University, I spoke with 3 first-year students, and at the end of their the podcast recording, I said to them, by the way, we're coming back to do this all again next year, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, even if you're not in the course anymore. The good news is, well, I'm assuming that, because all 3 of them are sitting here in the room with me, is that they've all come back, and we're going to chat about first year versus second year versus fears of third year and all the things they've learned along the way. I'm with Dylan, Natalie, Thomas. Hi, folks.
Hello. How's it going?
Very good, very good. And congratulations, I think, hashtag, on making it through second year. So you've made it through second year. Can we establish that?
Yes. A little
Possibly?
bit. Maybe.
I don't know. Grades aren't out yet.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
You'll find out soon. So you're still waiting for results to come in.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you finished all the things you need to have done.
Apart from a peer review.
Yeah.
But what was that?
Apart from a peer review.
Oh, right. You know this is being recorded and will go out, and I don't edit it, so I'm not editing anything out that you put in. Yes. All right. And the other thing, of course, is that last year we got you to bring in an object to talk about your journey to first year, and I believe you seem to have each brought in an object again this year. So, who's going to start with their object first? Dylan.
Me. So I brought in a drawing, sorry for tapping the table, that I did during one of our 2-week intensive courses. It was a scientific illustration topic where instead of doing, usual maths, science, lab work, we were in a lab but drawing bones, which is really interesting. And I drew Varanus priscus, lizards. I love lizards, so, that's why I brought that one in.
So, and that was with Peter Trussler?
Peter Trussler,
a sort of fairly significant paleo artist in Australia and internationally. And how did you find that? I mean, had you drawn a lot before? Because I'm looking at the drawings now, and they're pretty cool.
Don't inflate his ego.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was...
And I've seen all of the illustrations that all the people have done, and there are some that were done by art students, but some that are done by paleo students that haven't really done a lot of drawing before, and it's like, these are really good.
Oh, thank you. But no, it was weird because I started off with the typical stick figures, and then Peter was quite swift to tell me that we're not allowed to do that for the duration of the topic. So I had to learn.
I had to learn to draw in 2 weeks.
Pretty much. But with his help, I think the improvements in everyone's work was massive. I've actually been able to produce something that isn't just a stick figure.
Yeah, and as a part of the second year course, I guess it's a significant moment for you in terms of going,
absolutely.
I drew the things.
Yeah.
And you could put it on the wall and people would go, oh, look, the things.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, Natalie, over to you.
Yes. So I brought an ammonite pendant that we bought the ammonite at a gem show last year in New South Wales at Khajeh. But I didn't get it back until I went back to Sydney last holidays because my nana was doing the silver work around it to make it into a pendant.
That's very cool. So why of all the things you could have bought in, why that one in terms of obviously there's a significant connection to your nan.
I think sort of.
What was it about that?
Because it come from last year as well, then I've got it back this year after some work's been done to it, and I can now just wear it around. So
it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
I guess. Cool. Awesome. Tom.
Oh no. I've brought in a guitar.
Is that what that wooden thing with strings is sitting on your lap? Hardly noticed it when you walked in. So you've brought in a guitar.
I've brought in a guitar because I think I've said to Nat and Dylan before, if I didn't have it, I would go insane. it's good to just wind down after having done a bunch of writing, and you need something to do after you've written a lot, and this was it for me.
So it's your play space, your sane space, your takes you away.
Yeah.
But the other cool thing, I mean, I do this for a job with a guitar or a piano in terms of using the research that paleos have done to then create stories and shows and songs and stuff. It's a great way if you do both, and we're coming back to Peter Trussler. Clearly he has an understanding of the science and works with scientists at a very high level to create the remarkable paleo art that he does. So I think that's a really cool thing to have and to persist with, but also it's a nice out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? So you're not singing Professor Flint songs on your guitar when you're down
I dabble.
You
I don't dabble at all. But
he doesn't dabble at all. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good. Okay, so end of second year. First year to second year. We spoke last year about what the differences were going from high school or gap year to first year, and it's quite a big difference because, as we discussed, if you don't hand up your assignment, you don't have your teacher there going, "Oh, excuse me, where's your homework?" You don't have that. The responsibility is yours. So what have been the most noticeable changes or differences, or is it more intense in second year? What's second year brought to you that's sort of moved on from first year? Hopefully there are some answers to this.
You start getting more specific. In first year, it's very broad and general courses, and in second year, there's a lot of courses that let you choose your own projects, and you can just do modern day problems and current biological things, but you can tailor it to more paleo things if you try.
Yeah, and so for you, how, and I suppose that's the really cool thing about the second year then, is that it allows you to start honing in on what resonates with you, which is ultimately what you're going to be getting better at, because you're going to be more committed to doing that thing. So what's it been for you?
Well, I did a project with Nat where we looked at assemblages of Cathedral Cave and different abundances of mammal skeletons in there.
Yep. And what was the outcome? Or do you not have an outcome yet?
Very mixed outcome, I think.
I think for the most part, the middle sort of layers were pretty steady in terms of abundance. However, in say levels 1, 12, and 9 specifically, they dropped drastically, which could be because of the the change in glacial periods.
Yeah, so it could indicate a drop in species, or it could indicate just the nature of things falling into caves, or a range of things, which is really interesting. Okay, so for you now, is this the thing that for you is one of the different things, or is there some other things as well?
Well, we did a few other projects this year as well, pretty much all together, because we're suckers like that. But my favourite ones that we were with Vera, and we were measuring different parts of bird skulls. So in the first project, we had to differentiate it because it had to be an individual project. So we each measured different things. So I did the optic foramen, which is where the optic nerve goes through in a bird's eye, and to see if that you could see anything in difference between diurnal and nocturnal birds.
Cool.
And the last one we did was on the night parrot. So we looked at the ears of 29 different parrots, and we measured the length, the width, and the distance from the foramen magnum to the top of the ear.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? It's a strange thing, isn't it? So what did you do? Oh, I was just measuring night parrot ears.
Yeah.
It seems strange, but useful information, because it's
Yes.
that kind of detail that helps get us to solutions and answers to things, or possibly raises other questions. Dylan, what about you? We're talking just that, difference from first year to second year things. What's something for you?
I think just the sheer amount of just self-driven work has just shifted massively. I think first year was a lot of weekly quizzes, and then you'll have like a big report every now and then, but you could usually, I know you probably shouldn't, but you could probably get it done in a couple of days to a week. Whereas
first years, do not be listening to this. Potential first years, do not be listening to this. This is not how one does it. Do go on.
Don't do that. Don't do it last minute. But no, I've noticed in second year a lot of it's like I said, self-driven. So you've got to meet people. Vertebrate form and function was a great one for that. I think you were talking about the Vera projects, and I had a very similar one. Just comparing two different measurement types. But a lot of that was consistent work. So we go into the labs every Thursday, we do our measurements, and then we go back home. Next Thursday, do measurements, come back home. And over like this course of 2 terms, so about 4 months, I reckon, we collected a big database that we could do a project on, do some research on. And that was probably the biggest difference for me from first year to second year, just the sheer amount of, the self-driven, having to, not having to, but going to labs, coming back, getting work, getting data.
So it's taken that level of personal responsibility to an even higher level.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is ultimately what you need to be doing. If you're going to be doing research and conducting your own research and doing PhDs and being professors. I remember last week, the cup, the mug you talked about last. So you still have the mug that will sit on your desk when you're a prof?
Yeah. I drink hot chocolate out of it every now and then.
Just hot chocolate?
Well, iced coffee too.
Oh, excellent. That's a good South Australian drink. Okay. So, what has been the most challenging thing for each of you throughout the second year? Because we talked about some challenges last year, and challenges last year included like getting to know people. You've like Tom, you've come from other side of the world to be here, and while you got family here, I think you said that it was that challenge of being in the room and seeing people and like, whereas now I'm pretty sure in an email you referred to your group as the Bone Squad. Is that it?
Yes.
So in fact, let's get onto that. So is that we'll come back to the other thing. Bone Squad, is that
No, this is a thing that I think they hate me for. They're learning to never let me write an email. Because I will...
When you say they, you mean the entire university fraternity?
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
Because I'll take it away and I'll get the information down, but it'll be coded in drama and frivolousness, really.
But I gotta say, what I loved about seeing the Bone Squad written, like "Cheers from the Bone Squad" or "Kind regards and salutations," whatever it was, is that it does show a significant difference from the beginning of first year, when you were looking around the room, not knowing who people were. To, obviously, there's a comfort now with the group.
Oh yeah.
Which is significant in terms of what you can do with research and stuff. So, back to my question.
Oh no.
Sorry. That's why we do these things. Biggest challenge in 2023?
Well, I think this semester in particular, there was just a bunch of workload right in the very end of the term in 1 week. So there were like 5 different assignments due in the 1 week. 2 of them on the same day, which was just really difficult to manage. So you really need to get a start on them when they come out.
Yeah, not as Dylan's suggesting, first years. Yeah,
On the record.
It's on the record. But you're right. It is absolutely critical, because if you just had one that was due in this one particular week, you can probably do the thing that Dylan said. Oh, look, I've got a week, I can do it. But if you've got 4 or 5, it actually And I used to think at uni, why are they doing this? Why don't they stage it out? It's like, oh, actually, it's a good thing that because you're told early enough to get it done, that you then have to manage it. And it comes back to that responsibility thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, but you just need to, and that's what you need to be doing if you're working in research and academia. So it's actually a really cool lesson. So enjoy the lesson.
I don't know about that one.
Dylan, for you, challenge of 2023.
I think the biggest challenge for me, well, I'm lucky enough to, I feel pretty settled now into uni life, getting into the routine of it all. And I've now just gotten a job, and I think one of the hardest things this year was actually just balancing out work life, and finding happy balance between work life and uni life and social life.
Yeah, which is the eternal challenge, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So especially if you're, I have friends who've studied interstate, and if they've got family support financially, it makes it much easier because they don't have to work as much. But if they don't have that and they come from a background of not a lot of funds, they have to be working. While they're working, the other students studying or having a social life. So it's absolutely a major issue. But you're working through it. It's sort of, you've got the balance right.
Yeah.
Cool. Tom.
Hello. I think staying motivated or getting it done when you need to, because it's you can be very disheartening at times to wake up and be like, oh, I have to write X amount of words. But if you keep a level head, and you need to stay, you need to be excited about your work. You have to be passionate about your work to be like, oh, I don't need to, I get to do what I like doing.
I want to, I don't need to, I want to. And I guess that comes back to those choices that you make that we were talking about before. You make the choices to focus on particular things and stuff. So what's been the best bit of 2023, of second year?
Ooh.
Best bit. I think the vertebrate form and function classes have been awesome. Those those labs have been amazing.
Yep. So what did you learn from that?
A lot. A lot.
A lot. Well, thank you for expressing that so clearly. Over to you, Natalie. No, Dylan, back to you.
One of the really cool things about it is we had a lab once every 2 weeks, I think, and it was a 4-hour lab, really long lab. But you got to dabble in each aspect of what's going on in the actual labs, and I thought that was a really good experience because we got to play with birds. We had a fish one. I'm trying to remember now. Mammals. We had reptiles, which was awesome. And then we had a field trip out where we had to run along the beach and do silly walks and regular walks and running and jumping and skipping and measure the trackways. And
did Aaron get you to do that?
Yes, he did.
Dr. Aaron Kamens, ladies and gentlemen, he's been on Palaeo Jam several times, and yes, so does the whole footprint thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff. And I've done some work with him on that, and it's fascinating.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah.
We did some videos a few years ago of goannas and things, and bilbies and stuff, hopping, and just to see the different gait and stuff. Cool, really cool. Natalie.
The best part. I quite enjoyed myself doing scientific illustration, because that was also very self-driven. They put a bunch of bones on the table, say, go pick what you want, draw it. There was a little bit like, try this style, but that didn't lock us into anything when it came to the final project. So we got to sort of have a play around, and we could even ask for more bones of a specific type of animal if we were really dead set on something.
So what did you learn in that process?
Well, because I decided to look at bird tarsi metatarsi, and I looked at multiple different birds. I looked at penguins, galahs, genionis, and there was just so much variety in it that was just really fascinating to me, and that's sort of what I took away from it, and now I'm just really into the birds.
Which is cool, because those things help you decide on where you might go in third year and in honours or in PhD research and stuff. So yeah, really cool.
I think my favourite thing that we did was it's going to be real sappy, was just hanging out with friends, really. Just getting to know who are friends and like doing things with them. And especially with Nat and Dylan and organizing like FUPS events.
So that's the Flinders University Palaeontology Society.
Absolutely.
So, yep.
And having like university professors and lecturers and PhD students come to those and talking with them and just being like, oh, you're a person? Really? That's awfully strange. I thought you were just some idea. But no.
Yeah, I get that a bit. Yeah. Malcolm Mills is a person. What? No, he's just this peculiar idea that sometimes morphs itself into some meaty manifestation.
Just hanging out with cool people and people that you decide that you want to hang around.
And it's a really important thing. It's not sappy at all, and I think it's really important at several levels. One, in terms of the individual and group mental health. Those things absolutely matter. If you're going to get through uni, you need that community of people. But the other thing, of course, is that it's not uncommon that people study together, go on to research, or if you end up at the Natural History Museum in London, and Natalie, you end up somewhere in New York, and Dylan, you're still in the pub working. Yeah. No, if you're somewhere like those things, those connections, and that experience helps ensure that stories can be shared and told much more effectively, I think. So that's a really cool example. I think all three examples are really cool. So you mentioned that you did the Aaron Kamen's Ministry of Silly Walks,
yes,
and runs on the beach thing. Did you do? Because one of the when I asked you last year what was your favourite thing about first year, echoes of Alcuta came from all three of you.
Yep.
So Alcuta, for those that don't know, is north east of Alice Springs. I was there just a few weeks ago recording a podcast which we published with Adam Yates about Baru, and we actually were sitting recording the podcast right next to the spot where the skull of Baru had been found. And I love those sorts of moments, even though it's an audio podcast and you don't see, but you know that we're there, and you can hear the wind blowing in the background. So Alcuta was great for you guys. Did you do any similar things this year in terms of field work? Did you get to go out to any places?
Unfortunately, not. Yet.
Not yet.
We do have a little 3-day camp trip up to Mannum coming up in a couple of weeks that we have the pleasure of organising, being the FUPS committee.
Cool, and I suppose that's a different thing again, isn't it? So instead of going on a field trip that others are organising, you so how have you found that process?
Stressful.
Stressful.
Yeah. So just trying to organise things with everybody, and also getting just sorting things out with FUSA and things like that. The student association. It's just all very busy when it doesn't seem like it.
But what better way to learn how to run an event or a field trip than run an event or a field trip?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing that you get to do, isn't it? I mean, you're learning to do paleontology by doing paleontology. You're learning to organise a field trip. And again, that stuff is really useful down the track. If you're at a uni doing you're the senior researcher, I need to organise a film trip. Field trip. You can do that as well. But if you've organised field trips, you get a sense of what the bits and pieces are for each of them. So why Mannum?
Mostly just because we did do that last year as well. Except we did it before recording the podcast. Now we're doing it after. But we had a bit of a chance to do a little bit of the organising side with that one. So we did the food catering and stuff. And then this year it was an easy one. Doesn't take much to get there. People can get themselves there. For our first field trip to organise, it's a pretty simple one in terms of that.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, so from Adelaide to Mannum, 2 hours?
About 2 hours,
About 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's how we
Hour and a half, 2 hours,
that's how we define distance in
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah, it's just down the road. Yeah, just a couple of hours, mate. Yeah, just good on you. Yeah, just down the road. What, 250 kilometres? Yeah. Okay, we've got maybe 3 minutes left to chat. So, what has anything changed this year in terms of your ambitions and ideas of where you want to go professionally, having now got a second year under your belt?
Ooh, yeah, actually, something that I've really picked up on is through vertebrate form and function. Again, love that topic. I've got a deeper understanding of what actually happens in the labs. And based from that, I really enjoyed the reptile lab. I've got a little pet lizard back home in Melbourne. Name's Keith.
G'day, Keith, if you're listening.
But yeah, no, and especially with the scientific illustration topic, I chose Megalania, and I also drew a lot of different varanid bits and bobs. Drew humerus, vertebrae, lower jaw. So yeah, I think that's really what I've really found, just an appreciation.
Which is interesting because when you were talking before, and you said reptiles, awesome. Like all the things that you were listing, like when we were going through your stuff. Tom?
Oh, no. No, I think I want to do the same thing. Although I
still want to be the professor with the mug.
I want to be a professor
Very
with a
cool.
mug, and I want to study marine reptiles.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Natalie?
It's kind of in the same boat as Dylan, with the classes influencing how things are going, instead with the birds. So I really did enjoy the bird lab that we did in vertebrate form and function, as well as all the things that we got to do with scientific illustration. So I'm really leaning towards focusing on birds some more.
And what can be interesting is that might not have been a thing, whether it's for either you two or others. You can find a thing while you're doing the degree, paleontology degree, or any degree, that you hadn't anticipated is going to become your life's passion.
Yeah.
You discover this thing and you're going, oh my god, this is so cool. This is oh my goodness, I didn't realise, I didn't know birds were so amazing. Oh my goodness. So, okay, we've just got a couple of minutes now. Expectations for third year. Tom, first.
Oh no, I expect it to be stressful and self-driven, and I'm going to need to talk to people, and it's going to be awful, but amazing at the same time.
Well, yes. Thank you thank you from the Chief Minister of the Bone Squad. Natalie.
Kind of the same thing, but more just the workload is ooh, I don't know how I feel about that, but it's something I'm gonna have to get used to.
Exactly, because it doesn't matter how you feel about it, because that's third year. But it's cool. But you've had that step from high school to first year to second year. It's all part of the training that third year will be a lot easier. You would have probably thought, oh, I can't write 5,000 words in a song. Actually, it's not as hard as you think it is. Dylan?
I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to third year. I've got a mate who's just finishing up his third year now, and after speaking to him, I'm just looking forward to that whole self-driven aspect to it all.
And you get to be the big kids in the school and look at the first years and go, do you look at, we've got about 20 seconds, do you look at the first years now and go, good luck?
Absolutely.
Take you under our wing.
Yeah.
We have first years?
You have. So you're supposed to be making friends with all these people, Tom. Right. So it's just the second year and third years. Yeah. Yeah. On that note, thank you, Dylan, Natalie, and Tom. I reckon we'll do this again, same time next year.
So excited.
Fantastic.
Is a deal?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I guess so. That's confidence for you. It's time to spread some Paleo Jam.